Good morning, everyone. My name is Felicia. Today we'll be talking all about training today. Let's get started. Our agenda today includes definitions of training and competency, what is more expensive, training or incompetency, important notes about competency, best practices for delivering training, and how training builds your food safety culture, a little bit about my training philosophy to share with, a little bit of the special offer that we want to be sharing. So the difference between training and competency. Training really does means the process of learning that skills that you need to do a particular job, task, or activities. Or learning or teaching the skills and knowledge that you need to do a particular task and job or activities. Competency is a little different. Competency is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. I'll give you a few examples in terms of a HACCP training. Sitting in a HACCP training give you a HACCP certificates. That is a training. Writing a working HACCP program is the actual competency when you evaluate your ability to do something successfully or efficiently from the training that you obtain. Example, the high competency level might goes to a highly wordy HACCP analysis for complete analysis. The medium might refers to a HACCP programs that might miss a few minor control or minor steps, which is not going to affect the critical control point. The low competency is the standards where you are missing the critical control points and you're basically incompetent to do the HACCP programs, although you have your HACCP certifications. So that's a different level of competency that you have. All right. How much is your training budgets or hours or location really tells you about how committed you are with your team to make sure that they are properly trained and they are able to do their work and continuously improve themselves. All right. So is training really expensive? Michael LeBroch, in his book, The Great Principle of Management, warns the dangers of ignoring training. If you believe that the training is expensive, it's really actually because you do not know what ignoring costs. Companies that have loyalty of their employees invest heavily in permanent training programs and promotion systems. And what all this sentence really is about training, right? If we do not train our employee properly, our employee will not be able to do their work. We lost productivity. Our employees do not feel empowered. When they feel not empowered, they choose to look for alternative programs or alternative source where they can learn, and most often it's out of our company, and that's why there are a lot of turnover. So if you're not training your employee properly, also contributing to that turnover and making sure that your employees are happy that they're properly trained. Now let's look a little bit about is competency expensive? Which one is actually more expensive to deal with? All right, let's go to the other slides. So incompetency, what incompetency really can do for your company? Your company, the staff is not productive enough when they are incompetent. The work is not properly done that may result into issues, records not being upkeep in the food safety realm, the critical control point is being missed or not performed correctly, that may result into recalls or withdrawals, and that's a huge damage to your company and also to your brand. Incompetency also leads to other staff needing to cover up for their other colleagues, and covering up once in a while is not a bad idea, but covering up all the time would make the staff other stuff to be frustrated and start looking for other opportunities as well. And that is a brief gist of how incompetency works in the realm of a food safety culture slash organizational culture. Now, is competency more expensive or training more expensive? That is for you to decide. A little bit more about competency. Although you can gain competency, you can also lose them. Factors that can affect competency: workload, amount of the training that you're giving to your staff employees, the training effectiveness, how effective is the training. For example, our training today. And the support and performance management. What I mean by support and performance management is really about when you give someone a training, do you follow up to make sure that that person is competent enough to do their work? And do you encourage them to be competent to do their work? Encouraging them to make sure that if they have any questions, they're able to voice that out. Performance feedbacks to make sure they're continuously improving themselves, and also having that system where you are continuously building your employee competency from year to year, month to month, day to day. Having that structure and system in place really help people build their competency level, and the more competent they are, the better it is for your company. A little best practice for your training, and we do this for all the trainings that we do for our clients, we do for our staff. We do that, ensuring that staff are properly trained to do the task before we assign the task. It could be done as a task where you are just assigning your team, but when you're assigning tasks that they are not properly trained and you're using it as a training ground, there needs to be a proper management of proper feedback system to make sure that they build that competency during their first or second or third learning opportunities. All right, developing that proper training curriculum for your staff so that you have a standardized training program, and that really includes training curriculums that you do to make sure that you have a training matrix, for example, for SQF or GFSI programs for any HACCP certifications that you may have. Developing that SOPs for training is very, very important. It tells you who to train, when to train, and how to train as well. Okay, and also give you that ability to structure in that competency and how you define competency for your staff. When you're conducting the training, here are the tips that we always use to make sure we are getting that involvement and encouragement from our audience. Speaking the language that the staff can understand. If it means downgrading your language, be so. Use picture and audio to illustrate the training. Use demonstration whenever possible. We in the food industry work with a lot of machineries. We work a lot with programs, developments, and paperwork and all these things. Use demonstrations that show the forms whenever possible. Check understanding from one point to another point. Especially when you've gone through a longer training. We do love to have a shorter training. That's why you see our training is usually like within 15 to 30 minutes. We love having short training. People are more focusing. Encourage questions and that interactions. It will really help people not keeping up with your training and not fall asleep. It's very, very important, that encouragement and training. I also give that interactive, and people just recall, hey, you know what, in that training Felicia talked to me about this, and I remember about this because we have question and answer sessions that she explains to me about this and that. All right, my training philosophy. And a lot of things, a lot of the trainings that we do sometimes take a little longer to see the results. So my training philosophy changes as I learn how to train and as I learn how to better improve that training. If one person learned one thing today, then my job is technically complete. You are lowering the expectations because not a lot of people are able to capture everything that you learned, you shared today. And even if they are able to capture things that you shared today, they are not responsible, or they may not be implementing or doing the task right immediately. It takes time, a long time, to provide that encouragement, feedback, support, and opportunities for you or that person to see the results of that training, right? We have been there, and all I know all of you have been there, and we could help others get there as well with the training that we are providing. Ask that you be patient and be encouraged to continually share your tasks, your skills and skill sets with other people, right? How training can assist with food safety culture. Now, food safety culture is a quite recent concept in terms of GFSI. It has been here for a little while, but it's just being inputted into the certification requirements recently. And food safety culture is really very synchronized with your organizational culture, but in the realm of food safety, basically. Food safety culture is what our staff do when no one is watching. It's essentially one habit or culture that you can trade for, right? And a lot of people thinks that, hey, my food safety culture here is not as good, and I'm technically ran out of idea what to do and how to make my food safety culture a better one, a positive one. So there are a few tips that we like to share here. So make sure that your employees or your staff or your management know and set the expected food safety practices at the plant. Having that carrot and stick, basically reward and punishment system, not to punish people that are providing that feedback and raising that question, hey, we might have a food safety issue here, but rather people that are not doing the work when they know they're supposed to. And having that reward system, although it's their work, it's so important that we help our employees see what is expected and what is not expected through this carrot and stick method. And that usually would help prevent that food safety issues at the plant, and preventing that product, if it's really affected, from moving out of the plant and into the marketplace and having to recall that products from the marketplace back, or having people getting sick because they're eating food that are not safe. And training is just such a powerful tool to build a positive food safety culture. We do have a few food safety culture trainings that we do for our clients, and we would love to share with you if you're having challenge with your food safety culture. And you also see after this likes a special offer for you. I'd like to thank you on listening to our training today. Love and appreciate your feedback at this training link. And it's just great to be sharing with you, and I hope that you did have a takeaway today, and that completes my role as a training today. And in conjunction with our World Food Safety Day this year, we're doing a World Food Safety Month this year, so we are having a giveaway. So our giveaway is very simple. Just enter to our website here, and what it is basically, we want to know your story. We want to know what is encouraging for us to do a food safety training at your facility. We want to make sure we're delivering that training for people who need it, that deserves it, right? So it's just a very short question and answer that you need to enter, and you're in for our food safety plan template or our food safety culture training. That food safety culture training really looks at 2 sessions of 2 hours or less. Within that 2 hours, to facilitate sessions to calibrate your team expectation for food safety culture practices, what is acceptable, what is not, and having that list and procedures ready for your team to start and implementing them at your next training sessions or for your day-to-day operations. We'd love to see how we can help you with this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us here. Here's our contact. You can reach us out at our email, our phone number here. We look forward to hearing your stories, so please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your time today.